Hi again everyone, it's Abe, and today we are going to be de-rusting the Acura, or at least trying to de-rust the Acura. So as you might have seen in previous videos, at some point, this is my current daily driver. It's a 2004 Acura TSX with just over 300,000 miles on it, so in accurate terms it's just broken in. For a Minnesota car it's in pretty good shape, as you can see. However, being that it is now 16 years old, it is starting to show some signs of rust, since this is, salt country in the wintertime. We do get snow, there's salt here, and we're starting to see along the bottoms edges of the doors. I think that's just dirt there. Yeah, that just comes right off. And around the wheel wells a little bit, some rust. It's even worse on this side. Again, passenger side door's not so bad, but we get to the rear door's not so bad, but we get to the front door and it's starting to show a little bit. Now, I've done this before, and it's a pretty simple technique that perhaps you'll be able to use at home to try to, preserve your vehicles, your daily drivers, so they get a little more use out of them before they start rusting to pieces. We're going to be using some Loctite navel jelly, and the first step for that is to clean off the areas. So I am going to begin by grabbing my hose and go ahead and washing off the area on the outside. And that's not a very tight spray there. There we go. And blasting what we can in terms of dirt off the area on both sides of the vehicle, just so we can get a clean surface to work off of. Now obviously once you do this, you want to give it some time to dry, and you can also hand dry it a little bit, but yeah, we should still be able to get to the next step today, which is going to be using the navel jelly and scraping off the rust area, or rather dissolving off the rust area, and even repainting it if that dries today, which it should. I hope it does, because I got to drive this car to work tomorrow. Although I guess we do have a spare car right now, so yeah. Just to kind of show you guys the inside, as you can see, inside the car is pretty clean. Then when we look under here, if that's focusing, you can see we're starting to get some serious rust. You can also see a slight change in paint color where I sprayed it before. It's actually not too noticeable on the car, and it looks a heck of a lot better than a big rust line. And it prevents the corrosion from happening. So yep, I'm just gonna wipe that off and let it dry, and then get on to the next step. Okay, it's been a little bit and the actual rusty surfaces have mostly dried, so we're gonna go ahead and go forward with this. We're gonna start by opening the door, and we're going to, it's still a little bit wet, but whatever, we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna go ahead and start the process on here. And we're going to start that by taking a wire brush and scraping away as much surface rust and imperfection as we can. I'm probably going to take some little chunks of metal and paint with it, but it's not the end of the world. I actually just watched Fitzy's Fabrications on how to replace these kinds of panels. I'm not anywhere near to that level of work yet, but this is kind of the stopgap in between. Alright, so we're going to scrape this up and do the same on the outside of the door panel. You guys can't see now. There you go. And then once it's in this state, let me get this so the door stays open. Position you guys there. And put some gloves on and some safety goggles, some splash goggles, because you really don't want this stuff in your face at all. And we're going to open up our Loctite rust dissolver navel jelly. And when you open this stuff, it's a nice, fun, bright pink color. So I'm going to put gloves on both hands. And then, let's see, I think I'm going to hold the door with the right hand, and with the left hand, we're going to dip some steel wool. We've got some coarse steel wool here. And we're going to ball that up so it's kind of a cylindrical shape. And get some steel wool in there. Get that coated. And then we'll go ahead and apply that to the rusty section. And we'll do the same on the back side. And because this is mostly pretty thin rust layers, it shouldn't take too long. Getting some on the rubber. Don't want to get it on the rubber. It shouldn't take too long for this to dissolve the rusty sections. And then from there, the rust just comes right off. Last time I did this, I had a small wire brush. It didn't work all that well, so I thought steel wool might work better. Jury's still out for me on that. We'll see by the end of the project. So yeah, we'll just let that go for a little bit. And go ahead and put the camera back here. And then also try to work on this wheel well. So this wheel well, there's basically rust across the entire inside. And try not to get it on the tires. So we're going to rub this all in here. Particularly get some over in this section, because we want that rust off. Because we don't want our wheel well dissolving. So we're going to continue to do that and do that on the other side, and we'll show you the results when it's done. Okay, so after sitting for a few minutes, you can see that the rust is starting to loosen up a bit, and especially like over here. So if we go back and grab our brush now, the areas that we scrape are actually pretty clean. It didn't take all the paint off, so that's not too bad. And we can probably hose that off or wipe it off with a paper towel. And it'll serve our purpose. So if we go back to the other side, and this area was all bubbled. You can see that. Now if we start scrubbing this, well, you can see the rust is removing, although the bubbled area is still bubbled. But we'll see what we can do to that before going ahead and painting it. Right, I've gone ahead and wiped off all of the rust navel jelly, and as you can see, there's a couple spots where there's no longer any paint. There's actually a bunch of spots where there's no longer any paint. It's hard to tell, but you can't really see any rust spots anymore along the driver's side door, or if we go around the wheel well here. Again, there was rust before, and now it's just bare metal. And on the back, we've still got a bunch of bubbling going on, but you'll notice there's very little, if any, brown left. So that's, I guess I waited a little too long on that one. But inside the wheel well, no real rust anymore. And on the door panel, slight discoloration, but really no more. And you'll see there's some staining over here. This piece is actually plexiglass, so it's not the board that's shoot, what's that called? Rocker panel? The rocker panel is not rusting, it's made out of plastic. That's rust coming from the door above it. So yep, we got it just in time. That's kind of what I use my indicator when I start seeing rust going down the rocker panel. That means, oh, the doors are going, so time to re-navel jelly it. So now that that's dry, we're going to go ahead and get the spray can out. I got some Krylon Blue that's designed to be rust protectant. It's outdoor hard. It's not really an automotive paint, but hey, it works. And yeah, so we got to mask off the areas that we don't want to get any paint on them, and then go ahead and spray it, and the doors should be good for another couple of years, because the last time I did this was 2 or 3 years ago, and they've held out for this long, so there we go. Alright, I might be putting myself up for a bit of a disaster here, but I've got some masking around here, and the way this works, I'm basically just trying to prevent the inside plastic wheel well from getting painted blue. This paint, so this is Krylon Rust Tough Enamel in some blue color. It's close to what the car is, a little lighter actually, but it says to use it, it should be 6 to 8 inches from the surface. Well, I'm going to be a bit closer than that because I don't want the rest of my car getting sprayed. So I'm actually going to be more like 2 or 3 inches away, which is going to cause the paint to build up a little bit. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Hopefully this can still works. Don't know if I cleaned it properly last time. But we're going to go ahead and shield like this. Oh yeah, that's fine. And we're going to paint the entire inside of the wheel well and wipe off any excess. And that's going to look a little weird. But after doing it a little bit, we should get pretty good at it. This part's going to be a bit of a pain over here, but we got to go ahead and bite the bullet. Yep. Because guess what? A little patch of blue that's the wrong color is way better than having rust and having a big hole in the middle of your vehicle. And we could always try repainting that the right color later on if we find the right color. But that's pretty much all there is to it. And we will continue going around the vehicle and getting bits painted and making it look unprofessional, but I'm going to have to refinish around the edges anyway. I actually probably need to refinish the finish on a good part of this car. It's just a matter of spraying in such a way that we don't get it on anything besides the metal that we want to get painted. So, and again, this is the inside door, so it's not going to matter quite so much. Yep, that was a piece of rubber there that's supposed to be black. No big deal. Does it look better than rust would look? And again, out here, we're going to put our little shield up, tall shield, and aim down, and kind of go across the bottom of the door there, and then take this and wipe, kind of blend it in. Yep, that's a little stripe now. There we go. Again, it looks better than rust. Just going to worry about it too much. And let that dry with the door open, and we'll go ahead and do the other side and show you the final result. Okay, we finished with the vehicle, and as you can see, you can definitely tell there's a color change, but no more rust. Maybe we'll provide a before and after picture here. And if we close the door, again, you can see a little bit of discoloration. You know, it's like a lighter blue along the bottom there, but in the grand scheme of things, you can't really tell. And again, no more rust. Yep, some discoloration there, but no rust. And as we go onto the back, yeah, that part looks weird. Don't know how much that helped, but whatever. A little bit of bluing around the wheel well, and then just the tiniest hint of blue around the door there. And yeah, so obviously if you want to restore your vehicle and prevent rust and remove rust, there's better ways of doing it. And if you want to go ahead and replace the door panel or actually do metal fabrication, you know, that's probably the right way to do it if you're restoring a car. However, if you just have a daily driver, kind of like this one, it's got 300,000 miles on it. You try to do your best to keep it on the road, to keep it in one piece, especially if you live in an area with a lot of salt. I think this was a total of about $25 of equipment and materials, and I have done this process on this vehicle twice now on that same $25 over the course of 2 years, and it's been pretty effective, and I can probably do it another time or two. So yeah, $25 versus whatever you'd spend for real automotive paint, or you know, time and effort to make a new door panel and repaint the door, or new patch panel and repaint the door. I don't know, $25 is a pretty good deal to me, especially considering the preservation effect on my daily driver. So there you go. Hopefully that was informative to you. I'm sure plenty of you have comments and questions and whatnot. Please feel free to leave those. Again, I ask that you be respectful in those. You can say, Abe, you're doing that wrong. That's fine. I love to learn from anyone who's out there. But yeah, hopefully that kind of showed you guys how easy it is to potentially, you know, stop rust over a couple year time period on a vehicle in heavy weather. And I know it works because, again, this car has had it done twice over 2 years. And yes, okay, the rust does come back eventually, but as you can see, there's not really any missing pieces on that door yet. And again, this car is 16 years old. It's been in Minnesota all its life. Got 300,000 miles on it, and in general looks pretty good. So yeah, still got to take care of some of these rust spots over here and fix the finish. So yeah, after the painting, it'd probably be a good idea to put some kind of wax or clear coat finish over that area. I think that's what my mistake was last time, why the rust came back in 2 years. But yeah, there you go. So anyway, this is Abe. Hope you found this informative, and hope you have a fantastic week. And until next time, that's all for now. Bye.